Have a watch of Charlie Kirk talking to Oxford Union students, where he explains in no uncertain terms that what happened on October 7th cannot be dressed up in any moral way as being something that could be described as resistance. This is so important to be clear about, and Charlie makes it very clear. Have a watch.
No, thank you. But then in terms of the question of being pro-Israel and the right of Israel to exist, when Palestine very much exists and they're fighting for their own self-determination, how do you reconcile both?
So I would push back a little bit, as what Hamas did on October 7th was not a fight for self-determination. I would find great exception to that claim. 1,300 people going in on a holy day on Shemat Torah, 50 days after the 6-day war on Shabbat, to go to kibbutzes and a music festival to kill 1,300 people and take 200 hostages, all while filming it on GoPro cameras, and then some of which, not all, calling back to their relatives on WhatsApp saying, I just killed 10 Jews. Can you believe it? I just killed 10 Jews. I'm sorry, that's not a fight for self-determination. That's something horrific and brutal and evil that every human being with a conscience would say that's wrong, and we don't support that. And so, again, as far as this idea of self-determination, there are important, and these are not trap questions. The settlements make it very difficult in the West Bank. What is a Palestinian? What are the borders? Who's in charge? These are, again, and it also kind of goes back to this because I also have to throw it back. Some people believe that Palestine, or whatever the state will be called, let's just call it PA, is from the river to the sea. Okay, so then you don't believe in a Jewish state. I come from the premise that I think a Jewish state should exist. If you want a Palestinian state, tell me where, tell me who, tell me how, and I will be open-minded to hear that contention. But if it's nothing more than the eradication of Jewry between, Jerusalem to Tel Aviv and Haifa, I'm sorry, that's where now we're blurring on the going backwards, not forwards from, okay, we're going from Israeli government to Israel to some problem with the Jews. Does that make sense? That kind of that gradation of regression, I think, is very harmful to the dialogue.
Charlie, of course, is absolutely right. Anyone that dares describe what Hamas is doing as resistance, it's supporting evil, and it's patently not the case. When you are indiscriminately killing men, women, and children, simply because they're Jewish, calling out your parents saying, Mom, I killed Jews, Allahu Akbar, it is delusional at best to describe that as resistance. But here's the kicker. The kicker is that, unfortunately, when Charlie says that cannot be described as, a resistance for self-determination, the kicker is that, unfortunately, the entire Palestinian cause, from beginning till end, has never been about resistance, has never been about self-determination. If you study it, just a little bit of time and objectivity, you'll see that the whole cause has never been about self-determination. It's been about getting rid of the Jews. It's been about ideological hatred. It's not about a legitimate grievance. There's so many ways to prove this. Point number one. If all the Jews, God forbid, were to convert to Islam, they would put down their weapons, which proves it's not about a national cause. It's about religious hatred and Islamist expansionism. Number two, between 1948 to 1967, Jordan and Egypt illegally occupied the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, and Gaza. No great calls for Palestinian statehood then, for self-determination, to be freed from Jordan and Egypt. We didn't see that then, no. In the 1960s, they come up with this Palestinian flag and identity because they're realizing they're not winning these wars to destroy Israel, which leads very nicely to point three. What was the purpose of the wars in 1948, in 1967, 1973? Was it to get their Palestinian state? No. It was to destroy Israel. That was what the Nakba really was. That when it was coined and termed the catastrophe, people think it's because of the displacement. No. The displacement was actually self-inflicted because they decided to go to war against Israel as opposed to accepting the UN saying, well, the Britain has handed this over to us. There are Jews living here. There are Arabs living here. There was a Jewish state here thousands of years ago. There are a lot of Arabs living here as well. So let's just divide it into two lands. The Jews accepted, the Arabs reject, and they go to war against Israel. It's their decision led to this displacement. Many of them actually fled because the Arab leaders and armies said, flee, let us throw the Jews into the sea, then you can come back. But the key point is this. Had they won in 48 or 67, they would not have created this free Palestine. They would have just controlled different parts. Jordan would have a chunk of the land, Egypt, Syria, proving that it's not about self-determination and freedom for the people of Palestine. Indeed, in the Palestinian National Charter, created in the 60s, they say we consider ourselves an inseparable part of the Arab nation. So they're not a distinct nation. It's not about self-determination, ultimately. It's about the Jews re-establishing sovereignty in their ancient homeland, which is deeply threatening to their Islamist expansionist views.
Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.